Hi, I'm F.
And I'm S.
And together, we're F and S.
Or, if you prefer, father and son.
Well, that's the thing, is suddenly I just decided, you know what, today I'm too lazy to say that extra syllable that's in father. And so I didn't.
There are two syllables in father.
Yes, Jer. Yes, there are.
There's only one in son.
I'm glad you know that. There is only one in son. Yeah, you have it easy, you know. I put in more work around here because I have to say more syllables.
Says the guy who's never once edited the videos at all.
You know what? That's completely fair.
That's what I thought.
I'm just gonna let you have that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what?
You know what? What can I say? You're absolutely right. I don't edit videos. I don't contribute hardly anything to this podcast except for talking.
Your voice is all I require.
That's right.
Well, welcome to. Oh, that's kind of interesting. I'll send you a picture of this later. But I'm looking at my my bowl, and I had some ice cream in it, and the melted part of the ice cream turned into like a perfect crescent. That's kind of cool.
That's nice. Jer. Sorry, I was gonna try to totally change the subject, but then I couldn't keep it together.
Over that.
Yeah.
Right now, by the way.
No, but Jer, I'm depressed.
Why are you depressed?
Because I'm not gonna get to say welcome to Father and Son again for a while.
Yeah. And
yeah.
The reason being,
tell him, Jer. Tell him why. It's all your fault.
I'm joining the military. Woo!
Yay! Just a little half-hearted cheer for the U.S. Army. Oh man.
No,
but this is not a joke. Actually,
that's not a joke. Seriously,
let's make that clear. Jer's actually joining the Army.
I'm actually joining the military. In fact, I'm leaving on Sunday to go up to my recruiting office, and then after that, I'll be leaving from there to go to Fort Jackson up in South Carolina.
Uh-huh.
So, reason being,
so you might say now, Evan, aren't you mad that Jer said, "Hey, let's start a podcast and let's really put some effort into it," and then all of a sudden 8 episodes in, he's just like, "Yo, I'm out." And the answer would be, yeah, a little bit, but no, I'm not. I'm not, Jer.
I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think of that quote from what is it called? From Get Smart, where he's like, "I never said Dusty." Yeah,
I never said Dusty.
Dusty. I don't know why that came to my mind.
Yeah,
I never said 8 weeks. No.
No, Jer and I bonded over Get Smart. That was the first thing that really
was the first
us.
thing. Sadly, we'll have to wait to tell that story, like in depth.
Oh, we do.
Well, I guess we could kind of talk about it. I mean,
it's not really a story. I was just gonna point out that like the first time you and I really connected on a supernatural level was we were sitting at the lunch table and you just quoted Get Smart to yourself. And then I just turned right around my chair and quoted the other half of that quote to you.
Line,
and then we were like, boom!
We just looked at each other and we knew from that point that we were the same person and all was well.
Yeah.
No, I have thoroughly...
But actually, Jer, just explain to us, what the heck are you talking about when you say you're joining the military? Tell us, or rather, because I've heard it, tell them, all like 8 of them, tell them how you decided you were going to join the Army. Tell us how it came about and what you're going to do there.
Okay, before we completely go into that, I do want to say I have thoroughly enjoyed every second of doing these podcasts. Like, legitimately. We don't have very many viewers. I do like women, but that's great title, by the way. But it has been something that I've always wanted to do for real. This has been the longest running podcast that I've done. I've run 2 before. And sadly only 8 episodes is the longest that I've done, 2 months.
But it's not over. We don't want anybody to leave now thinking that there's no reason to stop listening, you know.
I do want to explain. I'm just prefacing like what's going on and what's going on here, right? So we'll start off kind of more with because the podcast actually preceded military in a funny enough way.
Okay.
I kind of want to talk a little bit about the origin of why you even started this, just kind of. Basically, me and Evan were just walking around talking at night about a bunch of stuff, shooting shit, having a good time. And Dad's coughing in the background. And
it's not a good FNS episode if you can't hear background stuff
about my dad. Yeah. But no, it all kind of began with me and Evan talking at like 2 a.m. about random stuff, and I just brought up the fact that like different modes of media and being able to express myself in certain ways, and we were talking about writing, and then we came across. I was like, I had a podcast. I love doing that, and I was like, and this and that, and Evan was like, I've always wanted to do a podcast, basically. And I was like, really? And I was like, would you be willing to do it with me, like, for real? And then he was like, yeah. And it went from that to being like me legit being like, seriously, I would love to do a podcast with you. I think it'd be really interesting for us to do it. Kind of going into the depths of like what we could do, because we've always kind of had this interesting dynamic of being the same person mentally. And
I was also going like, no, but really, seriously, like,
yeah, it was really good.
Like both of us were like, no, seriously, I want to do this, and the other one's like, yeah, seriously.
And it was cool because we really wanted to do it to be a creative outlet. We didn't really care if we got viewers or not. We knew only a few people would watch it in the first place. And we decided to do it and try and do it for as long as possible. And just kind of have a way to be creative in our own right without having to, like really take away from what we already do. So, honestly, this podcast isn't the highest effort thing in the world, but the point of it isn't to be high effort. The point of it is to be a creative outlet for me and Evan to just kind of talk and actually, find different things out about each other and explore different mental capacities and go through different things. And that's why we started doing this. It wasn't to make a successful podcast. It was to make a successful place where we could, unload and talk.
What I like about it is that as a creative effort, there's not really actual effort involved. You know what I mean? Like, it's just you and me sitting here talking, but it's actually very, creatively stimulating at the same time.
The hardest thing that we had to do was make the art for the channel. That was it. That was the hardest thing. Legit was the most difficult process. That took way longer than anything else we did. But no, it's beautiful in its own right. And so that's why we started doing it. We started doing the podcast weekly, which I'm actually kind of impressed that we only missed 1 week, and that was due to some strenuous circumstances.
Okay, but at the same time, I think last week and actually this week as well, because we're recording this on a Friday. Yeah, we are a day behind.
Go up on time, but it came out. Okay.
You know what?
It came out.
I'm just pointing out that you don't have a perfect upload schedule in you, Jer. That's what I think.
It's a lot better than anything else in my life, so I really don't care.
It's like this is the most stable thing I have right now. Like, it may not be impressive, but it's all I got.
It may not be impressive, but it's all I got. That's a good quote. Put that down.
Jer,
write that down.
Jer, write that down. That's like the Evco version of "It ain't much, but it's honest work."
Exactly. It ain't what is it? It ain't impressive, but it's all I got. Yeah, I'm writing that down. Hold on.
This always happens. You always have to look something up or write something down, and then there's like 5 seconds of awkward silence.
Well, then talk over it, mother.
You want to know what's disappointing to me there is that it sounded like you weren't going to finish, like there wasn't, like it wasn't going to be mother, anything. It actually sounded like you were just calling me mother, and that's a little weird. I would have
preferred if that's all I was going to say, in all honesty, but
I wouldn't. I don't want to be your mother.
I don't think those words have ever been spoken to me before. Surprisingly,
because the only person who could say that to you normally would be your mother.
And even then, it would be like a little disappointing, but no,
hopefully a lot disappointing.
It's fine. We're getting slightly off track.
Yeah, really.
To really kind of dive into it, it all started when I got kicked out of my house about 5-ish months ago, and that's all been fixed and figured out, right? But COVID took a big toll on everybody. I decided to go to college. I didn't get to go to the college I wanted to. Went to Collin instead. They have a cybersecurity program. All gooch. But I was hanging out with my sister at her friend's house, babysitting their dog. We decided not to do something. Got in a big fight with my pops. We ended on bad terms. I got kicked out. I moved into my own little apartment place. And
See that guy right there?
that
Looks like he's hit
mean.
rock bottom.
Shut up.
It all started about 5.5 months ago.
Yeah.
Sorry, keep going. I'll stop interrupting.
That's good. I just can't think of any witty response. But which in turn is like kind of a witty response itself. But I moved in with this interesting character of a person. We'll call her eccentric. But had some quarreling there as well. But I was doing college. I was doing all right, having good grades. I missed a midterm due to some inaccuracies with a teacher. Did not like college in the least. It was all online, and I hated it. The only class I liked was my speech class. And through a series of events, I dropped out of every class besides one, which was my speech class. I had gotten in trouble with my landlady because I was being too loud. I stopped being loud. I couldn't pay her on time because my bank was being ridiculously stupid, and she had a stupid app called Zelle or whatever, which if you put your debit card on there instead of your bank account, it won't transfer properly. And so I kept trying to transfer over and over again. I even talked to my actual bank and tried to get them to fix it, and it wouldn't work. And she didn't want to do PayPal because it took 2 days to get into her account. Long story short, she accused me of something that I didn't do. I proved I didn't do it. She was okay with that. I wasn't okay with being accused of something. So I actually moved out of that and moved in with my parents. And I was going to stay there for the time being, try and figure things out. And just until I could move out and figure some other things out. But during all this, I had recently just talked to my my cousin Stephen about military stuff, right? Because I had already dropped out of one class. I had just gotten a reunion with my family to go pay respects to my uncle one last time, and to to celebrate his life and remember him well, and remember where he is, and give glory to God throughout the entire process. And me and him just had this really cool discussion about the military, and I was just like, what is it like? How is it? Could I do something like this, do you think? And we just had this giant conversation about it. And it really got me thinking. It didn't convince me, but it got me thinking. And so I kept thinking about it until finally I was like, this seems like a better option than anything else that I've tried. And so I completely dropped out the rest of my classes later on due to one experience. And this is when we had gotten home from the vacation. I had one class. It was a speech class. I was doing really well in it. And I had a final speech to do that was worth 75% of my grade, basically. And how did I say that word again? I did it. I studied for 5 hours a day. Took so much time to write it. I even learned a little bit of Chinese, a little bit of Japanese, to kind of get acquainted with all of it. Really put in the effort for this speech. I was like, I'm screw up at everything else. I want to get this done right. I had a flash drive. I was ready for everything. I downloaded everything onto said flash drive. Well, back up a little bit. I didn't have a flash drive. I remember I needed one. Drove to the store, got one after looking for one for 15 minutes. Couldn't find one. Finally get it all downloaded. Driving to go to said thing. Realize said flash drive's not in my pocket. Scrambling around, trying to find it. It is nowhere. It is gone. It was in my pocket. I knew it was in my pocket. I grabbed it. I brought it to my car. Everything is going wrong. I am freaking out. And finally, I had run back and forth between my car 3 or 4 times in my house, looked everywhere. I sat down, looked over at the clock, and realized that there is no way I'm making it time to this class, and the class will be over by the time I get there. I am just done with everything. I'm just sad. And I decide, you know what? I'm going to call my mom and just lose everything on her. So I called her. I broke down. I didn't cry, but I broke down to her, freaked out about everything. I was like, this is just terrible. Everything's going wrong. I'm a screw up. I don't want to feel like a failure anymore. The normal stuff. And my mom's like, dude, maybe college isn't for you, which in this day and age is very surprising to hear your mother say that. That's one of the few things that won't hear.
Honestly.
Yeah, no, right? She's like, maybe college just isn't for you, man. I mean, this is God telling you that college is just not right for you. And so I was like, maybe you're right. And I called a recruiter, got an appointment set up, went in, tested. Also I dropped that class, by the way. Went in, tested, got everything done. I tested a 95 on the ASVAB, or the PICAT, which is an undoctored, untimed test version of the ASVAB. Got a 95 on it. My recruiter was like, holy crap, because apparently that's pretty good. Personally, between you and me, that test is like 7th, 8th grade level math and reasoning. Just me. But I think it's more to do with the fact that I was in a school that kind of like geared towards testing like that. So
yeah,
this is me. But it was a lot of critical thinking, which I'm decent at. Got a pretty good score on the ASVAB, and then from there, because of that, I really want to do cybersecurity. That was my main focus. I was doing cybersecurity college classes, but it was all online. I hated it, right? I had like an hour or like a 7-hour class on Saturdays. Despised that class with every fiber. I mean, it was so boring.
So when, so you had cybersecurity like as a potential career in mind before the military became an option.
Exactly. Yeah. I loved the idea of cybersecurity, and I still enjoyed it when I did it. I thought it was cool. But doing it online without any hands-on experience was so boring and so unfun that I was gonna get through the classes to get through the classes, but to me it's like a big puzzle. But I just always loved computers. I always loved that kind of stuff, and I want to pursue it. I really do. I feel like it's where I'm called to go. And so I found out that doing it in the military, specifically through the Army, is really difficult to get into. To give you kind of a perspective, I got one of 3 positions in the entire Army to get into said job at the time. So I got it reserved for me, because in the Army, they'll reserve a job before you ever have to sign up on anything, right? They reserved the job for me. I went, I got my test scores confirmed. I got a physical done, which was crazy. That was super freaky and weird. I had to pee in a cup. Sometimes it's hard to pee in a cup when someone's looking at you.
Wait, you had to do it while somebody was looking at you?
Yeah,
because I've had to do that before, but like I've never, like at a doctor's office or something, I think, but I've never
had
had
to confirm that you're. He wasn't like staring over me, staring at my genitals, but he was like sitting there, just kind of like making sure that I wasn't like squeezing a thing and using a fake penis to fake the test out, right?
Right. Yeah.
And got all that done. Got through my physical. Was able to do everything. And then I had to take a test that was called the cyber test. That was an interesting experience. Excuse me. I passed said cyber test, which is actually one of the most difficult tests to get into the military, like one of the most difficult introductory tests. And because I honestly think that God let me go through college for cybersecurity for those 2.5 months, or 3 or 4 months, actually 3 to 4 months, just so that I could get used to like a little bit of the networking side of things and the cyber stuff, just enough to when I took that cyber test, I passed that test by 1 question.
Really?
If I got a 64 out of 100 points, and the passing was a 60, I passed it by 4 points. If I had missed 1 more question, I would have failed it, I think. Because there was like 39 questions or something like that. So yeah, I barely passed the test. It was crazy. And I pass it, I get through everything, and get through some of the other things, some background check stuff, sign my contract, and then boom, I'm technically in the military. And everything past that has been me doing all of this. But I kind of want to dive back a little bit from just the main story and where I'm going now, when I'm leaving soon, and as to why like all this has been affecting. A lot of this has been weighing on me for a long time. I've always considered doing the military. I never knew if I was actually going to do it, but because of all of this stuff happening, it felt like God was leading me towards the military, even with the wacky election stuff and everything going on, and we don't know what's going to happen to America. All of this stuff, God's in control. I knew that, and I know that He's leading me towards doing the military, and this is something that I want to do. I feel like it really will grow me as a person and grow me in a lot of ways that I never could before, because I lack discipline as a person. I'm very undisciplined, hence the schedule. And the military drives that into you hard. right? And I know that through years of trying and studying and pushing myself, I could get to the point where I'm disciplined. But all this stemmed from a lack of discipline, a lack of me being able to push myself through and actually make something of myself. And so this is the first thing I've done right in a long, long time. And it's a move that I feel like God really led me towards. And it's not just me being selfish. I really think this is God leading me towards doing this. And that is the main reason why season 1 of FNS will end with this episode. And I say season 1 for a very specific reason. I am going to basic for 15 weeks, right? For the majority of that, or 14 weeks, I think. Maybe 12. I don't know. One of those things. Usually you only go for 8. I'm going for X amount of time because of the fact that the army shuts down for Christmas. So I'll have a little bit of an extended period of time. I'll come back for Christmas for 10 days, maybe do a Christmas special. And then
I was gonna say we'll have an FNS Christmas special. That'll be funny.
Special. And then I go back for basic for a little while longer. And then I'm getting shipped off to Pensacola in Florida, and that's where I'll spend the majority of my time. Now, I have heard, due to my MOS, what I'm doing, that a lot of it is more like almost college. I'm studying a lot more. I'm taking more classes. I'm not necessarily going to be completely like cut off from the world. I think I'll be allowed to have a PC and to be able to do my own time kind of stuff. I'm not quite sure. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. If not, and they're laxed up on a lot of things, then I'll actually be able to record and edit and do stuff for FNS. Now, I might not be able to say a whole bunch of stuff that's directed toward my military stuff, but I think I'll have some cool stories and be able to talk and actually have time to do this. So the absolute maximum amount of time that FNS will be canceled for will most likely be around 2 to 3 months. Afterwards, I believe we should be able to come back with season 2, strong, fresh, weekly, everything like that, and it should all be okay. And that's what I personally understand from what I'm doing. But I went out, bought myself some shoes, getting ready, and I'm leaving on this Sunday, to go into the military. And so everyone who's watching this, who I'm friends with, that you didn't know this kind of stuff, now you know, you understand why.
Surprise, and see you later.
Exactly. But,
wait, who doesn't know? Do the boys know?
Archer knows.
I haven't told them. Archer knows. Okay.
I don't think Polly knows.
Polly doesn't know? Well, they live together, so he might.
He probably should know. I mean, I assume because when I told Archer that he would know.
Okay.
Nick knows. I don't know if anyone else does. But no, I know that a couple of our friends will most likely not be very thrilled about it. But that's okay.
Why won't they be thrilled?
I say a couple of our friends, as in one in particular, who kind of is and kind of isn't a friend.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, that person probably won't be thrilled about it. That's okay. I'm not going to apologize for something I feel like is my right way to do and the right thing to do. But I'm actually going to be going away for a long time in terms of like how long I'm going to be in the military. I will never go overseas. With my MOS, I will be in the States the entire time if I don't fail out, right? If I do well and I maintain my studies and do really well on this, I will not go overseas ever. So I'll always be in the States, but I don't know where I'm going to be in terms of like bases and whatnot. So it may be a long time before I get to actually see people who I'm friends with in person, except for like Christmas and holidays and all that. But I'm still excited for it. Still happy what I'm doing and happy that I'm doing it. And I think that about sums up the military side of things and why I'm doing it, what I'm doing it for, where I'm going. And I just wanted to see if you had any like questions possibly for me to answer.
I don't know. I guess one thing, well, I just want to say that, like me personally, as your friend and as the co-host of this podcast, like I don't feel like it's necessary to say that, like, I don't think anybody's going to think this, but I just want to make clear that, like, despite the fact that this happened in the middle of something that we started up like this, that we wanted to keep going for a while, I'm 100% like behind you with this, because I know that you've thought a lot about it and I know that you know that it's the right thing to do and that God's led you to this point. And as someone who has been led by God to certain points in my life before, I absolutely know what that's like, and I absolutely, believe you and support you in what you're doing. But I guess one of my questions, this is a small question, but it just came up into my head right now. You're going into cybersecurity, but you also have to go into basic training. Is your basic training like still drill sergeants and 50-mile jogs and stuff? So everyone does the same crap.
Everyone does basic to start, because their point is to the point of basic training is to break you down as a person to your purest form, which is a blank slate. And
which
then
is monkey.
Exactly.
Which is monk.
Shut up. Which is mun. Which is mo. Which is M. And that's what they do. They turn you into M. And then from there, they can recreate you as, instead of monkey, into money. And then...
Oh my god, that's great.
Probably shouldn't say that about the American government.
No, it's probably, I think it's true.
Yeah, even they would probably be like, yeah, that's about right.
Yeah, they'd be like, you know what, that's fair.
Monkey into maggot. That's another good one.
Maggot.
No, monkey into maggot into money would probably be the best way to kind of like the tier list.
Well, because first you go into maggot, and then the maggot becomes like the larva in the cocoon or whatever, and then you turn into money. Yeah,
that's interesting, but yes, that's pretty accurate.
Yeah.
But no, so I'm going to basic for a long time. They're going to tear me down as a person. I'm going to shut my brain off when they yell at me and just say, yes, Sergeant, every time, no matter what it is, even if the time I look at my own face.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever seen the video of that?
What?
There's a beautiful video of where this drill sergeant is talking to one of his privates, and he's like, "Private, some, come here." He's like, "Look to your right," and he goes, "Yes, Sergeant." "Look to your left." "Yes, Sergeant." "Look down." "Yes, Sergeant." "Look up." "Now look at your own face." And the guy just goes like his eyes just get real wide, and he just kind of like stares off into the distance. But no, I just wanted you to see that because he just dies inside. Like, what is he supposed to do there? No, but I'm gonna go through that kind of a thing, right? I'm gonna go through that process of like just dying on the inside. I'm gonna let it all out in my head. Just understand it's a game. Understand what they're doing to me is meant to break me down. Kind of just let it happen. Be what I'm doing. Let that happen. And then
I'm just not like that. I have a specific dislike for that process.
Yeah,
I just know that I wouldn't be, if they somehow forced me into that situation, I just wouldn't do what they wanted me to do. I just know it wouldn't go well for me. We'll just say it like that.
That's fair.
I will never be in the military. And if they try to make me, I will gladly go into jail instead.
That's fair.
Just to be clear about that.
I got very good at kind of letting things slide off, my shoulder real easy, So I'm not too like frazzled about any of that kind of stuff, and I just realized that I didn't do something I was supposed to do. But no, I am excited. Once you get past the first 2 weeks in basic, apparently it's not nearly as bad. After that's kind of like training and working out, learning how to use weapons and whatnot. And it's really just what's happening. That's all that's going on in my life. And
so I guess now it's time for me to bring it around to my POV and discuss the little phone call that I had to have on your account because of all this.
Oh yeah.
I think that's a worthy story to tell.
I don't think we've talked about this, have we?
No.
Oh, so I'll go a little bit real quick. I have my MOS is top secret, right? So what I'm doing, very, very high level military intelligence job, people can't know about a lot of the stuff that I'm doing. So they have to do a background check to make sure that I'm not a terrorist, right? So I had to give them a bunch of names of people who could vouch for my, sanity. And one of them I gave, because I thought it would be funny, was Evan.
Yeah, it was funny, all right.
So we're going to bring it on over to Evan, and he's going to talk about what happened.
So so the Jer's getting like this background check or whatever, and all I know about is that some government employee. I don't know if she actually like an FBI agent or something.
Not FBI, but she was another like intelligence agency that works on the
Okay,
government.
so
Very similar.
I was just thinking of her as some sort of FBI agent, or if not FBI, then like you said, some other intelligence agency, right?
Instead of the FBI, she's like the military version of the FBI.
The MBI, right?
Mm-mm.
Okay. So anyway, Jer tells me that I'm going to get a call from this government, employee, this secret agent kind of person, and I'm just like, my knee jerk reaction was like, dude, I have no idea what to say to a person like that. I'm probably going to mess it up. Which spoiler alert, but I didn't mess it up.
Yeah, I did.
She actually turned out to be pretty down to earth.
Very cool person.
Yeah, which was quite surprising to me, but she was really easygoing for the 15 minutes that I talked to her. So she was a good lady. But so she calls me, and basically some of the questions are real, obvious. She's like, how long have you known Jer? What kind of person is he? What's he like? And then it's the buildup, man. The buildup is what killed me, because she started off with those easy questions, and then all of a sudden it just gets progressively worse. It's like, has Gerald ever been a part of a terrorist organization? Has Jer ever shown like sympathy towards any enemy countries? Or has Jer been known to associate with like Russians or Middle Eastern, people? Like, not to be racist, but just like, these are the basic questions that she's asking me. And I'm like, I'm like, at a certain point, because one of the things she said was like so clear and like it was spelled out. And I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was one of those, has Jer ever committed a crime of national security level or whatever? And I just picture you doing that in my head the second she says it, and I like flat out break into laughter with this FBI woman on the phone, and she starts laughing too. and for a second, like, I'm just trying my hardest to like keep myself contained, but when she starts laughing, it just gets worse on my end. So for a second, it's both of us just laughing there about the idea of Jer committing a terrorist level.
I know that like it's
against
bad
the United
States,
a
terrorist level thing, and like, but I just imagine me in like a getup, like a robber getup, like running around behind somebody with like a cache of a stack of cash behind my back.
No, but what I pictured was this is the best part. What I pictured was the outfit that you referenced a few episodes ago that you wore to be Neo.
Really? That's what you thought?
Like, because I remembered the story you told about wearing that outfit to school. And naturally, people being like, dude, you look like a school shooter. And I just picture that image in my head when she says that. And I'm like, listen, lady, he hasn't committed any crimes, but he sure as frick looked like he was going to at one point.
Totally, don't tell me you actually told her that.
I didn't say that to her.
Right.
But that's just what I'm thinking in my head.
Oh my goodness.
But no, the real part of this, this is just where it gets freaking weird. So we get to those kind of extreme questions, and then we start dialing down again and get a little more low-key, a little more personal. She's just like, how'd you meet Jer? How often do you see Jer? Again, like, what kind of person is he? Yada, yada. And then one particular question she asks is, what does Jer like to do with his free time? So we'd already discussed, like, your school and the part-time job you had there for a while, and what. And so she's just like, well, if you guys aren't hanging out and he's not, if he doesn't have obligations, then what is he doing? And so naturally I say, like, oh, well, he likes to play video games. He likes to watch movies. And then this is the like choice of words that I somehow just had to use. This is what came out of my mouth. I was just like, anytime that he gets to be like immersed in a story, like me, he enjoys that. And this freaking 55-year-old government agent flat out says in the most like just innocent tone, "Oh, like roleplay?" And I just sit there and I'm like there's nobody else in the room with me. Nobody else heard her say this, but I just look into like that invisible camera like I'm on The Office, and I'm just like, I'm thinking like, dear Lord, please tell me I don't have to have this conversation. But I did. I had to tell her, I had to explain to her, no, I did not mean role play. And whatever that would entail. I meant just when you get to follow a character in a story, like one does when they watch a movie or play a video game and watch all the cutscenes and whatever. That's what, the sort of thing that Jer enjoys. And like that was really.
He meant like D&D or something like that. In all fairness,
that's all there is to the story. But just the fact that I had to hear that and had to explain that to a 55-year-old government employee. I don't know if she was actually 55. She was 50 something. That was just a little scarring for me mentally. I just didn't enjoy that very much.
Evan told me this part of the story while we were eating pizza at a public restaurant, and I lost my shit in the middle of like there. I just started laughing so hard, and I have a really high pitched, loud laugh. So like you can tell it annoyed some people, but I didn't.
Yeah. No.
Speaking of which, we got a free pizza from that place. Shout out Cadillac.
Yeah, shout out to Cadillac, because we promised the waitress that we would review Cadillac in our next podcast episode.
Let's do it.
So Cadillac, we're totally changing gears here. Cadillac is a pizza place in downtown McKinney. It is, I mean, we've been going there for a while, and like everyone who lives in McKinney and goes to downtown McKinney like knows about this place. But like this place has the best pizza ever. Like that of the places that I've been to, like I have eaten pizza here, and it's good enough that I can't eat Domino's or Pizza Hut or anything like that without going, God, I wish I was having Cadillac instead right now.
I personally have been to different places in Chicago, and my favorite is, and I'll explain. My favorite is deep dish Chicago style pizza, so Gino's East and a few other places in there, but I don't really like thin slice. So the fact that I really enjoy Cadillac's thin slice pizza tells you something about it. That should really like tell you something. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But anyway, it's just a really good pizza place, and we were talking with our waitress who we freaking. Oh yeah, I was gonna say
she was hot. That's all I'm saying.
She was hot. But I almost forgot her name though. But she said her name was Alexa. Like she said, like the phone lady or whatever.
Yeah.
And so I was, and Jer and I were kind of being a little cheeky with it, we were being like,
a little bit.
Yeah, we're actually secretly restaurant critics in disguise. So we're gonna give you 5 stars. We'll shout you out on our next podcast. Shout out to
Alexa.
Cadillac and Alexa,
she was very nice, very
she
cool.
was very nice.
We didn't get our pizza that we were supposed to, and she made sure we got our pizza. We got another one for free.
Yeah.
Very, very cool person. Actually, really funny. Very nice.
And if she somehow listens to this and remembers this and recognizes us, Alexa, how you doing?
We think you're hot, and you're very nice.
Well, we both thought you were hot, but Jer's actually going away, so I'm kind of the number one choice here. I'm just saying.
She was very, very cool. It was a very cool time. All jokes aside, it's a great place to eat.
That's
great environment.
I wasn't joking, Jer. I actually want her to give me a call if she hears this.
I know, Evan, but that's.
Don't say jokes aside and speak for me like that, Jer.
No,
that was not a joke.
That was not a joke. But no, so we really, really enjoyed it. It was a great time. It was my second time ever being to Cadillac.
Which I can't believe.
Yeah, I know, right? Luckily, all the drunk bozos.
Because Archer and I go there all the time, but
luckily, all the drunk bozos beside us weren't there for long. So, because we had to eat outside, it was beautiful outside, though.
It was beautiful outside.
And after that, we pissed in bushes.
Wait! Oh, you totally! I was going to lead up to that story.
What?
You totally just flat out. Well, it makes no sense now. The best part's been told.
How are you going to lead up? I want to hear this.
I was just gonna be like, well, after we left the pizza place, something else fun happened. I was gonna lead up to it. I was gonna tell the whole step-by-step
it's a
story.
great lead up instead of just jumping into it with the we pissed in bushes.
Well, it's the ending.
It's much more jarring, Evan. That's better.
Okay, you know what? Screw it. I'm still telling the story. Okay, so Jer and I sat in Cadillac probably longer than I've ever sat in Cadillac. We were there for like 2.5 to 3 hours, and during that time, I think I maybe went to the bathroom once, but Jer didn't. Jer didn't at all.
Mm-hmm.
And
by this time, I had drinking 6 sodas.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, because our lovely waitress kept filling up our Dr. Peppers like every time she walked past us, which we appreciated, but it did mean that we ingested a lot of Dr. Pepper and not a lot of time.
Yeah.
So, the thing about downtown McKinney, and I don't know if it's like this in all the historic, old-fashioned downtown squares around these parts, but at least in McKinney, the thing about it is there's really no bathrooms unless you're A, in a restaurant, or B, stop by the courthouse. The problem was it was like 10:30 at night when we left Cadillac, so nothing else was open, and we didn't really have a lot of options. By the time we got to my car, we were both kind of thinking to ourselves, you know what? We probably should have relieved ourselves back at Cadillac before we walked to the car. And I was thinking, I told Jer, I was like, look, there are some I think there's like a Hobby Lobby and a Target and whatnot, not too far away. We can just stop at those. But then we're kind of standing right by my car and we're like, you know what? Neither one of us is making it that long. And so it's pitch black, obviously. There's not a lot of people around. And there's some bushes nearby.
Some square bushes. Like there's we got to put this in perspective. It's not just like we jumped inside of a bush, took a piss, right?
It was
in
like
the bush.
Yeah, like you could hide amongst these bushes. The catch was we had to get down on our knees because the bushes were very short and Jer and I are both decently tall.
And the best part about that is even when you were on your knees, you could still see the heads above the bushes. So if anyone was looking directly, they would be wondering why these very short people were just sitting in the bushes.
Or just crouching in the bushes.
Just crouches in the bushes, right?
And so we did trade out lookout spots, but I gotta say that's probably the first time I've ever peed on my knees.
On your knees, yeah, right. I was about to say
I can't think of a different time where I would have done that. So it's now a tradition though. We're officially doing that every time.
We did make it a tradition, so hopefully Cadillac doesn't tell the police about us. But know that we liked your food so much we decided to piss in bushes.
Well, I was just gonna say actually. We just shouted out Cadillac and our cute waitress and acted as if we hoped they both heard this podcast. But do we really want them to after we just said that?
So now what we're going to say is that entire story was purely hypothetical. Could have been a joke. Could have been real. We don't actually know.
Hey, it didn't actually happen. It was just something that Jer and I entertained the idea of.
It could have happened. It could have not happened. It's just it's all hypothetical, You
don't know. We don't know.
You don't know. We don't know.
No one knows.
You know.
I know. Jer knows.
No, but
my dog is in the room, so he knows.
Oh, tell Mavi I love him.
Hey, Maverick. Let me see if I can get Maverick on the podcast. Maverick, speak. Louder. Speak. Ruff. Speak. He's not doing it.
I can hear him breathing. He goes.
You can hear him breathing. Okay.
Yeah, that's good enough. Hey, is your brother home yet?
No, he's not coming home now because he got he couldn't fly earlier today when he was supposed to, so he had to reschedule.
Yeah, okay.
Which has happened a couple times. Luke hasn't been home in like 3 weeks, so
is he going home tomorrow?
I don't know. I don't know.
If not, I don't get to see him, and that would make me sad. I still get to see you though before I go. So
yeah, well, I don't get to see him anymore. But because I was just saying, it feels like I don't get to see him anymore because, like I said, he hasn't been home in like 3 weeks.
Well, that's true, but I mean, you're his brother. I'm his bud. That's different. I'm supposed to get to see him more often.
I'm just telling you.
Yeah,
but no, he's out there. He's out there piloting. He's doing his thing.
Yeah, just to mind you, Luke's probably going to be one of the more wealthy people that came out of our school. So, out of all the other people, except for Braden Barker, that man's going far. Shout out Braden Barker.
Is he really? Because his older brother was in my grade, and let me tell you. Barker is not going far.
No,
At least not the last time I knew him.
Braden is running a fairly successful business already. So
really, what's he doing?
He has a clothing line that he started in high school, and I think he might have gotten a little bit of help from his dad. I'm not sure if that's true or not. But he took it and he did it all on his own. Did a few things, but he's taken it and turned it into like this actual decently well done business. It's like Wayne's Gear is what it's called. No, it's like Wayne's Gear.
How does one start a clothing line? Like, that's interesting.
I'm not quite positive, but
I mean, we'll get him on the podcast in season 2 and have him.
Yeah, no, I'll actually text him and see if he wants to get on just for fun. Yeah. I'm just reading his website. Yeah,
what's the website called, or what's the clothing line called?
It's Wayne's Gear. If you want to check it out, shout out Wayne's Gear.
I think that's been. I think I've seen other people from Braden's grade promote that on Instagram.
Yeah, it's not like we're actually sponsored or anything by them. It's just that this is like
no, but we weren't sponsored by Cadillac either. We just like to shout out people and places we know.
It's actually decently like priced clothing, and I've seen it and felt it before. It's good stuff. But no, it's a pretty cool company. I think it's pretty cool. But I might leave the link in the description just because I like it so much. But yeah, that's just a thing. But no, he's gonna be pretty successful. We all knew that. He was like most likely to be like a billionaire before he was, or most likely to be successful on a great yearbook stuff. So, but I think I was like most likely to fall asleep. I was the same thing that Polly got. What did Polly get?
I don't know.
Most likely fall asleep in class or something like that. Whatever it was. No, me and Polly.
That's what I would give you.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know if I'd give that to Polly. I mean, I guess Polly slept a lot.
Did you ever see Polly in school? Were you ever in classes with Polly?
No, because he was below me.
Yeah, I mean, I was below Polly, and I was still in classes with him. But every time I was in a class with Polish, he was out every time.
Really?
And he was known for passing out every time in class.
But he's also that kind of guy where like he doesn't have to be awake in class.
No, he doesn't.
He'll still get A's. Yeah.
If Paulie ever watches these podcasts, he'll be like, no, or yes. Actually, he might say yes. Paulie is a genius, and everyone knows it.
Well, he'll say no or yes in that tone where he just doesn't care. Because he doesn't care.
Because he really doesn't care, but he is, you know?
Yeah.
It's so cool. I love that, man.
Yeah.
But yeah,
we should just have a podcast where, like, instead of having our friends on, we just talk about our friends. I mean, we do that already, but like a specific episode where we just talk about them. I'd like to get Archer and Polly on for the FNS Christmas special. I really would.
That'd be cool. Like if we're all together, maybe we can actually do one in person.
Yeah, well, because what I really want to do is talk about our New Year's Eve tradition. Even if we don't talk about the one that happens this year, I just want to talk about it because that's not really a story I feel like can be told and be like, you know, it just can't be done justice if all four of us aren't here to talk about it.
Well, you know, what would be interesting is after we do the podcast, or after we do the New Year's Eve thing, is like the day after we do a podcast. Right before I leave back up. Because I have a few days afterwards, so that would be kind of interesting.
That would be fun. Or even more scuff to do it at 3 a.m. when the tradition part is over. And we're all just zoinked out of our minds. like we're all just good. Exhausted and, and we're trying to do a podcast. It'd be super scuff.
But all right, well, I don't really have much else to talk about, and we've been going for almost an hour. So I think that about does it.
All right.
Well, thank you all for watching. This was season 1 of FNS. It was an amazing experience. It taught both of us, I think, a lot about ourselves and the way we interact. And
I will say, I haven't really talked to you about it that much, Jer. So this is kind of new to you too. But and this is not confirmed by any means. But I will say that I have the certain beginnings of a plan for what I might do to carry on this channel while you're gone. I'm just going to throw that out there. I don't know for sure that I'm going to do anything, but I just want to, and if I do, A, the videos will be way shorter, and B, they will probably not be as frequent because the case is that obviously being one half of a podcast hosting team, I don't feel that I can carry a ton of episodes that are an hour long by myself. Just no two ways about it.
Yeah.
But so it'll be different, and it won't be an official FNS season. I'll call it. I'll rebrand us. I'll call it something else. But yeah, just throwing that out there. Potentially, there's more content coming while Jer's away.
Look at that. That's something I didn't even know.
Yep, there you go.
So
I thought you'd be pleasantly surprised.
I am pleasantly surprised, but thank y'all for watching. Seriously, this has been really cool. Even with the few amount of actual viewers that we really do have, mostly just being friends. Thank y'all for watching. It really does mean a lot to us. It meant a lot to us over the course of the 2 months that we did it. And this is not the end of it all. It is simply just the end of season 1 and the end.
It's a new beginning.
It's a new beginning. It's the end of the beginning. It's not the beginning of the end. It's the end of the beginning.
Right.
And so we just want to say thank you again. And it has been a pleasure.
Mrs. Obama, it's been an honor. And I have been father. I'm sorry, I ruined your outro.
And this was father and son. Thank y'all.
Peace out.
Peace out.
Craig's still recording.
Shut up. I know
he won't stop.
Like it.
Jer, he won't stop. Stop, Craig. He's become too powerful.